Praise be to Jesus. Well, hello again, everyone. Charles with you here. I'm back, and I just ran across a story from the Associated Press, which is I checked all the sources I usually do, and this is the only one up so far that gives an explanation of what this document that the Pope released this morning, what it's really saying, and this is their take on it. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. Pope Francis decreed on Tuesday that ordinary Catholics should be consulted about issues facing the Catholic Church, and that bishops gathering for periodic meetings can make binding decisions on church teaching. Francis issued new rules reforming the Synod of Bishops, the consultative body established 50 years ago to give popes an organized way of bringing bishops together to debate problems facing the church. In the past, synods have been talkfests by churchmen who made non-binding proposals to the Pope to consider in a future document. The new rules say the bishop's final document becomes part of his official church teaching or magisterium, but only if the Pope approves it. The Pope can help guarantee the outcome another way by appointing members of the Synod Secretariat, drafting committee as well as the Synod itself, whose members are only required to come to a moral unanimity in voting for their final document, but no numerical threshold. All right, so I picked up on 2 points here. Okay, the first one is the fact that the Pope can stack the deck. He can appoint who he wants. In fact, the list of the people that make up the Youth Synod, Synod, I keep on saying Synod, I say it the way it's spelled, I really don't understand pronunciation very well. But anyway, a lot of, I looked at the names of all these people in the Youth Synod, and, they're all obscure people as far as I'm concerned, except some big names. We see Kupich there, and Tobin of Newark, and one other big, Marx, Cardinal Marx of Germany. These are all modernists. So anyway, so what can happen now is that he gets to appoint who he wants so he can stack the deck, so that when it doesn't seem like there's actually a vote. He's talking about something called moral unanimity, which is I guess just a agreement in a moral sort of sense, which is I mean, that's really a very hazy way of putting it. I really don't understand what that means. I mean, that's in quotes here, so that's apparently part of what he said in the document. Um, I think it's next year that there's going to be this Pan-Amazonian Synod, and I believe, if I understand this properly, it's just really made up of regional bishops. So if that's correct, and even if it's not correct, um, bishops can now, in a synod, all right, make binding. Um, they can make a binding proposal, and if the Pope agrees, it becomes part of the magisterium. This is really a very, very big deal, I think. I mean, this is something that's very different than what synods have always been. Um, and the fact is that he gets to stack the deck. So this is a way of railroading through whatever whatever he wants. He can call a synod on, let's say, um, what do you call it here? I'm trying to think of the word here. Um, Contraception. All right. So we're going to have, this will be part of the agenda, let's say, of some synod he calls. Then he stacks the deck and gets the bishops to agree in moral unanimity. uh, and then he okays it, and it becomes part of the magisterium, which is, to me, magisterium is part of the official teaching. So, and then they're going to do some mental gymnastics to say, well, we're not really changing anything. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Um, I'm no more knowledgeable about these kinds of things than most of you are. So, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going to happen here, other than this really seems to be obviously a very big change here. This is really very significant. So, he's got an agenda. He's finding ways of moving it forward. Um, I read one comment where a woman said, so she basically said, so the Pope is telling us to shut up. Well, I agree with what she said there. I tried to be a little more diplomatic in the way I put it. I'm not going to say anything like that, but I mean that's basically what he's saying. He just wants those disagreeing with him to, he's trying to get people to believe that the Orthodox believers who are holding firm to their deposit of faith are being influenced by Satan, and that we're in the wrong, and we're holding up the Holy Spirit, where, if we continue in this way, there could be a schism in the church. I mean, it's like all our fault, okay? It's all our fault because, you know, we don't agree with what he's doing. We think what he's doing, I would say at least a lot of it borders on heresy. But that's where you get into this whole verbal gymnastics of about, well, what does this actually mean, Because when you read some of these things in the past 5 years, it's like, huh? You know? I mean, they're all sort of hazy and, they're not very specific. So, this whole concept of moral unanimity, um, I mean, what is it? What does that mean? I mean, I mean, they're not going to take, it says, but no numerical threshold. All right. So numerical, the voting part, there's no voting now. Now we're just going to get into this hazy idea of moral unanimity. All right. So more confusion. He's adding more haziness, more a chance for wiggle room, because a lot of what he puts forward just really gives people a lot of wiggle room. It's all like, how you perceive it, or what your conscience does with this. That's what's important. Elevating the primacy of conscience above official teaching, all this kind of stuff. Well, okay, that's what I got to say about this. Now, we'll see, maybe later in the day there'll be some more analysis of this, and, so I'll bring that to you to see if it agrees with this analysis from the Associated Press. So, in the meantime, try to smile, enjoy your day. For me, it's lunchtime, and I'm really hungry, so we'll talk to you later. Bye.